F-16. The first thing you want to cut out is this fuselage, which is made out of these two pieces here. Here's the fuselage, and you want to fold it on both of these lines here. One way to fold is to pinch the side and pinch the side, and then lay it down flat on the table and just mash. And that will give you an accurate line right where you want it. Another way to fold it is to pinch here and pinch here and kind of pinch your way into the middle. That's another way to do it. Now this is going to go together and look something like a candy bar like this, but there's a couple extra curves to it. So it has this distinctive bell curve to it. And then we're going to glue it together. We're going to put some glue on this stripy part, and we're going to line this up with it, up like that. We just want tiny dots. Dot, 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 dot. If you get big dots like this, just spread it around. You don't want the paper to wrinkle. Now, we're going to cut these wing holes at some point. We don't want the paper to tear through, and so this little piece is just there to give some extra material to make the fuselage stronger. So we're just going to kind of tuck these in like that. We need this. And here's this piece. We're going to fold it here and here. So here's the piece curled. And it's going to go together like this. So it's got our same bell curve as the rest of the fuselage does. We're going to put some glue on this part. Drop, 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 drop. Smear it a bit. And here we go. We're going to cross these tabs here and glue them down. And then this, we just pull it up, and these tabs cross each other. And that gives us the main fuselage of the F-16. So we can put some glue right here on these little mounting areas. Or we can put glue on the back of the tab. Either way works. Make sure you get the edge of the tab, not just the center. Then we're going to cross these tabs like that. Get a pencil or something, and you can push against that to make sure that they're seated properly. We pop that open, and we close it, and these tabs will cross. So we will do that. We'll put some glue here, here, here. We'll cross the tabs. Make sure this is kind of straight like that. You don't want it pointing up. You don't want it down. You want it about like that. And this is our fuselage. We're going to set that aside for a minute and do some other stuff. Okay, the next thing we want are these two pieces. These are engine trunks. So this thing is going to fold here and here. And this is going to stick into that corner and make kind of a little half cylinder like this. We don't need a lot of glue here. We just need it on this edge and maybe some down here to keep things flat. Pull that inside. If you put it on the ground, that'll help keep a twist from developing in it. You look down like that. If there's a twist, we're okay. And this thing is going to stick right here onto the bottom of our fuselage. Now there is a front and a back to this thing. There's a little arrow here that says front, and these vertical fin mounting areas, these are going to be in the back. Put that in like that. And we've got our engine trunk. Here's our air inlet. This will fold here and here on those dotted yellow lines. This guy will tuck under, and it's going to make a short half cylinder that goes in the front. You could attach the air inlet to the engine trunk and then glue the whole thing onto the fuselage, or you can do it like I'm doing. And some glue underneath this tab here. And that gives us our air intake for the F-16. Next step is the nose cone. And this guy is going to curl up and make a cone. So we will put some glue here. Put a pencil on the side of it. It helps to push it down, make sure it's solid. It's going to go right here. So we're not going to worry about these two tabs right now. Let's just get this area and this area for the tabs on our cone. It helps to squeeze it a little bit and then squeeze it that way, and it should fit right in between those two tabs there. Here's our canopy. We got a front and a back. The shorter piece is usually the front. The longer piece is usually on the back, but not always. These little rescue arrows do actually point backwards. Don't let that fool you. The blue lines show that these little tabs fold up. And we also want to curl this slightly. The edge of the table is great for this. And now it's this weird little shape that looks like that. So this is the glass part where your pilot would look out. And we're going to put some glue on one side of it. And then we're going to put this thing here so it covers up that little area. And then we're going to let that dry for a second so we don't have to fight two loose tabs. So here's this. I'm going to roll it on the edge of the table. And then we're going to fold up these little tabs. Now, here's the back of the canopy. What throws people off a little bit is the F-16 has a canopy frame in the back of the canopy. Every other plane has the frame in the front of the canopy. So this looks like it could be the front, but it's actually the back. We're going to put some glue right here. Make sure we get right to the edge of the tab. And that sticks right there. And while that's drying, we'll secure the other side of this thing. We'll put some glue right in there. And now this thing bumps up. That actually makes a canopy that rises up like this. We'll do the same with the back part of the canopy. We want these lines to line up with each other. And then we have our canopy where the pilot sits. There's a trick to cutting out the vertical stabilizer. I could cut all the way around like this, but it's symmetrical. So I can fold it right there. And just like a Valentine's Day heart, both sides are the same. And then I only have to cut out half of it. There, see? Now there's also these blue lines here that we fold up. These are going to make little feet that we can use that to stick this onto the fuselage. We're going to put a couple of drops of glue in here to keep this from flopping open. And then we're going to put some glue on the feet. Here is our fuselage. It's going to go right here. Take a look down and make sure it's straight. There's our fin. Now we've got some fins that go on the bottom. It's these guys, which look really strange until you cut them out, and then it almost makes sense. This weird thing folds in half like that, and it's got a foot that comes out, and this folds in half. And it's a double fin thing. We're gonna put some glue here and some glue here. And then this whole thing is going to stick right here. Make sure we don't put it on backwards. It doesn't line up exactly backwards. So I'm going to put some glue. And they stick kind of down like that. Now we could cut both of these out one at a time, but since they have a left and right symmetry here, we can fold on the sneaky line right here and get them both at the same time. See? So then we'll cut this one last. Now these also fold here, and we have some tabs that fold out a little bit. This is going to kind of clamp onto here, so they don't need to fold all the way out. Notice it's dark on the top and light on the bottom. If you put it in on the wrong side, it looks very, very strange. Okay, so there's one. Now we do want to curl these up a little bit, just so our airplane can steer up a little bit more. Now comes the hardest part, is we have to cut a hole to put the wings in. If you have an X-Acto knife, this is actually really easy. And there's the hole to put the wings through. If you don't have an X-Acto knife, or if you're doing this with children, you can do it with scissors. It helps if to put your finger inside the fuselage. Getting the scissors in here, if I just push, I'm going to rip through and hurt myself and the airplane. So I'm going to kind of drill, but I'm going to drill into my finger like this without cutting myself. So my finger's on the inside, and I'm pushing against my finger, and I'm just going to kind of drill. There we go. Now once the jaws of the scissors are in there, I can kind of nibble away. And I can open up that way. It's a little bit more difficult. It's not as neat, but it does work. Here's our wings here. We've got the top part here that folds onto the bottom parts, and then we have some missiles to put on the wingtips. So here's our wings. There's another technique for folding, and this is where you use a ballpoint pen and you draw on the line. It must be a ballpoint pen. It's going to dent the paper, and it'll want to fold right where that dent is. We're going to line this up with a straight edge, right on that line, and we're going to draw a line. And then it wants to fold right there. It's an easy way to get accurate. Now this down here, don't forget to fold that. Now when you fold the wings over, you'll notice that this top part is a little bit longer. That's on purpose, because when we force this edge to meet this fold line, it makes a curved wing shape. That will give us proper airplane lift. But before we glue this together, we want to put something on the inside, because right now this isn't very strong. We want this. All this is a tube that you roll up. And if you start from this corner, it makes it kind of easy. Just kind of roll it up. This is pretty stiff. If we bend it in the middle like that and then mash it down, this is actually pretty strong. We're going to put some glue down here. Glue, 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 glue. And we're going to put this thing right in the inside of the bottom wing. Like that. That will keep this thing from bending. It will also make sure that we have a camber curving over the top. With this wing laid flat on something, I'm going to curl this over and push down, and curl this over and push down. And because it's on a flat surface, my wing will be straight without any twists in it. Now with the wing, we're going to slide it through these holes. Just like that. Now these pieces that we cut out, these are wonderful little tabs to glue down and secure the wing in place. So we make sure that we're straight. And then we're going to sneak a drop or two of glue under our tabs. And our airplane is almost done. This thing is next. This is the engine nozzle. This thing is a short cylinder that curls around like that. You put some glue on the stripy part. And with the seam side down, because it looks better that way, we're going to put this on the back of the plane. Now because of the fin, it's going to be off to one side a little bit. But now there's our engine nozzle. So the missile folds in half, so you have the top part of the missile and the bottom part of the missile, and it goes like this. Put a little bit of glue here, and a little bit of glue on the bottom, and then we'll go put our missile right here. We can also put some glue on the inside of the missile itself, and then put that on the wing, and then the missile will hold itself shut. Now this guy folds in half, but then has feet that come out like this, so that we can put glue on the feet and we can stick it right here on this mark. One last thing we need is there's a fin fillet that goes right there. This is it. So we can fold this in half, and we can cut both sides at the same time. And the little feet fold up on these blue lines. See, so there it is. And we're going to put some glue here. And kind of smear it around. Make sure we get the corners. And we'll put that right there. It just kind of defines the shape of this, and it makes this a little stiffer also. But if you want to go further, we can make this launch equipped. And that's with this. This has kind of a zigzag thing to make this part double thick, and then it has feet that fold out, and this is going to stick under here and allow you to catapult the airplane with a rubber band. So we're going to put a drop of glue here and one on the inside of this. We've got 4 layers of paper here so it doesn't rip. This is an optional piece, and you have to put it right here under the nose like that. And once that's done, you can hold a rubber band against it and pull. The problem is to hold the back of the airplane, you have to squish it. You get a grabber tab like this. Put some glue on one end. And you either put it here, or you can put it on the inside of the airplane, as long as you get it past the afterburner nozzle. And now you can hold on to this without crushing the plane with your grip. If you hold it here, you'll rip off the poor airplane's tail. This is easy to replace if it rips off. Now, to balance this thing for flight, it needs to balance right about here. So if I put my fingers under it, it's tail heavy. But if we balance it with some weight up in the front, it will fly really, really well. So this usually needs 2 paper clips. I'm going to put a piece of tape on one of them. And then I'm going to put it right about there. And the second one goes right about here. This is not exact. Your plane might be a little different, but it balances right about there. And if you give this a test throw, hold it right about between these two things, a good spot, right about like that, and give them a good throw, and you should fly. You want to make sure these tip up a little bit, just so it'll, by chance, it'll steer up rather than down. When you're really ready to go, get a rubber band. This is a big one. Big ones work better. If you hook it like this, and if I hold it by this thing here, this is why this paper is here, I can pull this back and I let go of the airplane, not the rubber band, and this thing will go surprisingly fast.